Taurus, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't. Check your other major placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Especially if I don't catch your storyline here, it might be in one of the others. And it's very hot here, and I'm melting and wilting a little bit, so I might be a little bit tired. I noticed. It's very hot. I'm sticking to my seat. Unpleasant. All right, Oracle Mystical Moments. What do we have for our Tauruses? We are grateful for the accurate message we're about to receive for Taurus. All right, what else we got? What do we have for Taurus, Oracle? What do we have for Taurus? Oh no, nuts. All right. I don't like it. All right, but whatever. We're going to move forward here. We can't like everything, can we? So this is the Art of Seduction. So this card to me is about insincerity. Someone here is very sincere, trying to make a connection, a heart, a mind connection, trying really hard to connect with somebody. And someone else here is not very sincere, just kind of here for a good time. And they're not really focused on the relationship, or they're not really focused on the dynamic. This can be work. This can be someone putting forth their best and not being rewarded for that. A boss, you know, not ever giving the promotion or whatever, not really, you know, not really noticing how much effort and work someone's putting into this. Or this can be a relationship, or, you know, this can be a business relationship, anything like that. Somebody here is putting a lot of effort and kind of trying to convince somebody to have more of a sincere connection than that person is able or willing to do right now. So it only seems like we have a couple here, but they only look like they're matched. They're not going to last for long because this guy doesn't give a shit, and she's going to figure that out eventually. So then we have Red Garden. So we have something, a very obvious blooming right here. We have sort of a message of the heart right here that we're holding back. But we have something really obvious happening, and then we have something very not obvious, where you'd have to be really curious in order to figure out what this is and what's going on here. So, and then we're also looking at the past with some rose-colored glasses. Our vision is a little bit clouded here. Our heart is looking towards the future, but our mind, the big thing that's very obvious to us and is very obvious to everybody, has to do with the past. Our heart has its eye on something in the future, but it's not obvious, and it's not really clear yet, and we haven't seen it yet, but there's some sort of part of our intuition in our heart that's loving something in the future. But we're a little preoccupied with the obvious things from our past. All right, and then we're going to move to Moonology here for some more information. All right, Moonology, what do we have for a dear Taurus? Lovely, amazing Taurus. Ooh, I'm not quite ready to take one out, but it did look very tempting. All right, Moonology. Okay. Oh, huh. These are interesting cards. You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. So, yeah, dealing with some, dealing with heart stuff, opening of your heart, and love, and opening that up, and stepping fully into deserving love, to feeling like you do deserve this love, this thing that your heart's looking at the future. This is saying that you do deserve that thing, the thing that your heart's sort of starting to be drawn to over there somewhere. This is talking about you are good enough for that thing. You know, you can, you just need to turn your head towards the future. And then once you do, you're going to have some questions, and this is here to tell you that you are good enough, that you can, you deserve this thing, and that you can achieve this thing and go for this thing. Yeah. All right. Ethereal visions. What do we have for Taurus? Taurus, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Yeah. Okay, that's confirming. Ooh. All right, so in your recent past, you have the Page of Swords, just learning about a new idea. This is what I'm seeing here with this, like, thing, that this part of you that's looking towards the future. But this is a new idea. You're playing around with it. You're not used to it. You're sort of like, am I doing this right? It's a new idea, a new way of communicating, something like that. You're not quite sure about it. But you can see a new truth has come in, and you can see it out of the corner of your eye, and you're not quite sure how to handle that truth and what to do with that truth. You're not looking it full in the face, and you may not even have the full truth. You have just a part of it, and you're not looking at it full in the face, and you don't quite even know what to do with it. You're just kind of wondering right now, like, what... Oh yes, I did put my mic on. About what is this thing and how do you do this? And so you sort of have a toy sword here, not quite the full truth, or you're not quite very well versed, but it's a new thing to you and you're just learning about it. And in your present situation, you have this 9 of Pentacles vibe. This is, you've worked incredibly hard. This is a card of great female strength. So she's a farmer, she's a winemaker, and she's been tending to this vineyard her whole life, and she's ready to harvest this year's harvest. Of course, winemaking takes many years and a very long time, not only to grow those vines and get the right varieties going and tend to them and get them going and get them producing fruit. Now we've got a bumper crop of fruit here, and we're going to be harvesting them for the next step. So this is really, she's older, she's mature, and she's harvesting what's hers. She's the owner, she's the proprietor. She's worked incredibly hard. So there's this sense of harvest going on, of bringing in what's yours, bringing in what you've earned, bringing in what you deserve. I think this is part of this good enough vibe. And so that's something going on around you right now, is this deserving better, deserving the harvest, deserving the wealth that is coming to you. Look at this harvest. It's going to be so much wine, and she's going to make a hell of a lot of money. And this reminds me of the Widow Clicquot. It's a very amazing biography if you ever are interested in champagne, or just a really strong woman who is harvesting, who kind of changes. I mean, we wouldn't even know about champagne if it weren't for her. It's very fascinating. So I kind of view her as the Widow Clicquot here. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how I say it. But I'm open to correction. And so she's got this whole vineyard. This is her baby now. And hundreds of years from now, people are going to be drinking champagne because she put in so much work to make it a thing. And so here you are. That's the energy around you right now. That could be you, that could be somebody else, that could just be something going on in your life right now. In your inner landscape, you have, it could be this like big obvious thing that's bloomed already. It could be something like that. And then in your inner landscape, you have the Lovers. So this is loving something, and we're already talking here about the heart chakra and being good enough for something in your heart chakra. But the Lovers can also talk about a choice that we make between where two paths diverge, or the paths diverge. Your path, there's a choice here, and one of these choices is where everybody's going, and it makes sense and it's easy to explain. And one of these choices is a little bit unusual, but your heart is really wanting to go down that choice. This is the lover. This is the unusual lover. Are you going to choose the unconventional lover, or are you going to choose, or are you going to let your parents pick your spouse for you and just accept what's handed to you by other people's expectations and dreams and visions? So that's a little bit of your vibe. So you may be, wanting and hoping for that true heart connection to some sort of path for yourself, to some sort of path forward. You may be hoping and dreaming for that and wanting that to come in, or just thinking about it, contemplating it. Maybe the choices come in and you're really thinking about it right now, because I am seeing this heart chakra thing here, looking towards the future. So what's at issue is a Knight of Swords. This is sort of, but we're taking it in the reversal. So this is a lack of focus. Could be a lack of movement, or it could be way too much movement. Just kind of some energy that lacks focus in your life. That doesn't quite understand, not quite understanding something, not quite seeing something very clearly, not being very focused on it. It could be just like overbearing, rushing energy of just rushing into something, and that's also related to lack of focus and lack of understanding, and not really understanding the whole situation, but rushing forward. So there could be sort of a rushing forward energy where we're not really taking a moment to really focus, really understand, really be clear about where we're going, and be very clear. There could be a lack of self-control going on here. So that's what's creating an issue for this situation that you're dealing with. But look at this. The Art of Seduction and the Lover's card. They're both very similar with these two decks, and I don't know what that means right now. This could be you really wanting something, but the other party not being ready for it. Or the thing not being ready for a true union here. In your environment, we have this Three of Pentacles. Teamwork makes the dream work. So you have kind of a team around you. You have a bunch of people. You're all going to do your part to build something. This is like a meeting. We're having a meeting about something. We're going to build something together. We're going someplace together. Maybe with this harvest, you're going to need some help, and you've brought in additional harvesters, and now you've got your winemaker guy here who's going to help you with these next steps. You're definitely bringing something in right now, some sort of money in, and then you're consulting, or there's something around you where there's a team and everybody's working together. So this could be a work situation that we're talking about here. It's kind of funny to have the Art of Seduction and the Lovers here. But as I was saying, the Art of Seduction can be about a work situation. It's just about unmatched, poorly matched intentions. Let's call it that. Poorly matched intentions. So we're talking about some work situation here. Or some sort of work environment, or some sort of team we have assembled here. And we're working with this team here, and we're part of this team. And then your to-do list is Temperance. So that's really going to help this energy right here. This, I want to say like ADHD, heavy on the hyper component here. It's really going to help this. This is the bartender. I'm not saying alcohol is going to help this, or having a great mixed drink will help this. Although if you don't have trouble with great mixed drink is really great and can help a lot of things. But she's got her simple syrup and her bitters here, and she's mixing them. Look at that. I'd love to meet a bartender that's doing that. And she's mixing them. So she's taking two things that are pretty extreme, pretty out there, and she's bringing them together. So it could be maybe even these lovers we're bringing together, or we're combining more of a conventional way of doing something with more of an unconventional way of doing something. It could be that we're bringing, this insincere actor and this overly sincere person, and we're bringing them together, and she's gonna like start paying attention to her own life and her own self for a while, and he's gonna start paying attention to her a little bit. Like we're bringing these two extremes because we're starting out with these extremes of two very different energies here. Or it could be, you know, combining this heart dream, this thing from the future, with what's the obvious thing that's been from the past. So we're bringing two extremes into a more palatable, even situation. So, and this is divinely guided. So, but this is the energy you're supposed to be coming into, is sort of, I wouldn't say peacemaker, because it's not like two warring sides. It's just two extremes, or two very different ideas, and we're going to bring them together and mix them so that it's palatable, it's useful now, it's going to be delicious now. We're going to take two not very delicious things and make them delicious. So this is the energy you're being called into, is to make it delicious, to make things that aren't very good and tasty and palatable, and things that we actually enjoy and like and can use. So you're taking, I see a lot of like extremes here, or on this hand and on this hand, on this hand and on this hand. We have the Lovers here, which is, you know, a choice often between two very different things, and maybe the things are coming together, and you're going to bring two very different things together. There is a lot you're bringing. This is joining energy that you're bringing in here. It's unity, and part of that is being good enough. Okay, so then our possible outcome here is actually going to come in as a warning. This is the Eight of Swords. So if you're not unwilling to sort of work with these extremely opposite energies, this hot and this cold, and make them some sort of drinkable middle here, if you're not willing to do that, and that's not something you want to put time and effort and energy in, then you're going to feel trapped, and it's going to be a trap of your own making. You're the one that decided not to do this. The Tauruses I know are all very stubborn. So this is this card of saying, I'm trapped, poor me, oh my gosh, I can't get out of this, I feel so bad, I hate my life, and I can't get out. And everyone is like, she can totally, the swords are just behind her, she could just walk away, her feet aren't even bound here, she could just like go up and you know, rub her ropes against one of those swords and free herself and undo her thing. And so it's going to be obvious to everybody but you. You're going to be like, I'm trapped, help. And there's something that you'd be getting out of this, like maybe you don't want to bring these extremes into a more palatable thing, because you're like, I enjoy the attention I get from feeling trapped and from people saying poor her, or poor him, or whoever you are watching this, you know. So this is a warning that, I mean, and she can be very convinced that she's trapped. I mean, I have definitely been here. Like, there's nothing I can do. And there's like something super obvious that you can do, but it's too scary, too weird, too out of the norm, you know, that you don't take it up until it's just about too late. So, but this is a warning. If you don't want to, start bringing in opposites and start working with and coordinating these very different parts of your life, or these very different ideas, this path of heart with this more logical thing, if you don't, this, you know, this sincerity with this insincerity, this these two paths, if you don't start working with those and bringing them together, you're just going to end up feeling very trapped and sorry for yourself, and it's going to be your own fault. So we're going to take, do we have a positive outcome for this situation for Taurus? We may just be talking about a warning, because there are so many possible storylines going on with a general reading like this, that it may just be easier to, or just better to say, you know, if you don't start combining this shit. Okay, is this a possible positive outcome? Yes. Yes, Three of Cups, hanging out with our friends, singing, look at this, oh my gosh, we have these Three of Pentacles, these people all working together, And then we have them like singing a song together. We have a little choir here. We have this beautiful joining together of the friends and this beautiful meeting. So if you don't want to like get working on evening something out, that's weaving things together that are opposites and extremes. If you don't want to, mix your drinks, but if you mix these drinks, they're going to be delicious, and everybody's going to come, and they're all going to sing sea shanties, and everybody's going to have a really good time together if you commit to bringing this energy in, this temperance energy in. So anyway, your choice. What do you want to? Here's what you got to do. You got to start negotiations, or start bringing things, opposite things that are useless by themselves together to be more useful and more enjoyable. And then, so if you don't do that, this is you. If you do that, that's you and your friends, and you're all like having these drinks that you mixed. So you're going to mix some beautiful drinks. So get mixing. All right, Taurus, I really loved how that reading ended up. Very happy with that. So thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. I really appreciate it. It's both encouraging for me, and it helps other people find the channel more easily by raising its algorithm profile or something magical like that. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you.